It's tough to realistically judge where Kolkata stand in terms of their run chase. They've put a decent amount of runs on the board, particularly with a 17-run 10th over of part-timer Rovman Powell. The two men out there will play a key role. Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, both solid batsmen who can time the ball and get fours and sixes, and the likes of Billings, Russell, and Pat Cummins still to come. So all is not lost, despite the loss of those two early wickets, an injured Venkatesh Iyer, and, well, for Ajinkya Rahane, it was an injury for many of his fans because they've seen him in full flow, and it was a little disappointing to see him struggling on that particular surface. I've joined on Cricbuzz Comm Box by Lisa Sthalekar. Let's try and focus on the positives. They didn't try any experimentation with the batting order, but Venkatesh Iyer, even on one leg or what appeared to be that, did the job. He got that impetus early on.
Yeah, he's such a tall guy, isn't he? That, you know, those different lengths he's able to get to, and he's got those long levers. And it's just a shame for Kolkata fans that it was Khalil Ahmed that was able to pick him up, but he kind of got the start that they needed. They just needed someone else to go with him. Ideally, you need two to go hard, and they didn't get that with Ajinkya Rahane. But there's good signs for Venkatesh Iyer.
But the men who did follow, and I think Shreyas Iyer showed intent from ball one, sort of shimmied to the onside, threw extra cover, and showed that, listen, we don't have to have a Pat Cummins or Andre Russell. I can get boundaries and I can get it regularly.
He's confident, isn't he, to be able to expose all three stumps your first delivery. But he does carve it through that offside area. And it's interesting that he does hit it probably in that big pocket. So whether he can able to keep timing the ball nicely and score boundaries there, that will be the key. I mean, him and Nitish Rana at the moment are putting on a good partnership. Nitish Rana was a little bit slow just before we came into the comm box, and then he started to really motor. So these guys need to keep it around between that 10 to 12 runs an over mark and try and get it down. I think it was getting close to 13. So if they keep it under 12, then they're in an absolutely perfect position for your power houders or power hitters of Russell and Cummins to come in and go big at the end and chase down whatever they need.
And for someone like Nitish Rana, I mean, it's an opportunity as well. I mean, it's one thing, we know what he's capable of. He hasn't quite shown it. The reason why they've been keeping Billings in the team instead of a Sheldon Jackson is maybe lost confidence in Nitish Rana. But if he can do what he's capable of in previous seasons, along with a Rahul Tripathi in that middle order, I mean, that should be the answer to Kolkata's middle order issues.
Yeah, I mean, they need their top four to fire, don't they? It's pretty simple. I mean, Shreyas Iyer is looking good at the moment. They needed someone to kind of go with him. Nitish Rana seems to be the one today, but if they can get a little bit more from their opening pair, then they're in an okay position. So, like I mentioned before in the pre-show, this is a side that's sitting one on the ladder, and they still haven't quite figured out what their batting order, or it hasn't yet clicked. So that's good signs. You don't want to click too early in the competition. It's a long way to go, but if they can keep improving slowly, then especially in their batting department, then, you know, they're going to be hovering in those top four positions.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, they probably haven't figured out their best 11. We talked about the bowling as well, but overall, yeah, it's a good sign when you're not necessarily playing your best cricket, not necessarily got your best 11, but you still got the points on the board. Quick look at the Delhi bowling, because that was something we felt would have been a bit of a threat. Mustafizur was going to be, and in a batting paradise like this, 2 overs for 5. Oh, you're right. You're sending not telegram. Where did that come from? You're sending tweets all over the world to shout about
Snapchats.
You know, there you go. I've got to keep with the times.
Yeah, keep with the times. I like the telegram. We might as well go Morse code as well, you know. But I mean, his 2 overs at the back end is actually going to be crucial, taking the pace off his slower deliveries that drop a little bit. So if Delhi can get a little bit more out of Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel has got obviously a couple more overs. And then I'm surprised Rovman Powell bowled, but anyway, interesting decision there. And then Khalil Ahmed has bowled well, 2 for 12 as well. So they just need one of their other spinners, Akshar or Kuldeep, just to go for a little bit, take a wicket out and maybe go for around 6 to 7 runs and over. And Delhi are in with a chance of walking away with 2 points.
But the good thing is we saw, I mean, maybe we didn't see the intent up front from Ajinkya Rahane, but we have seen someone like Pat Cummins padded up. I mean, it's obvious that after the previous innings he would be, but it's not necessarily the time of the innings he would have padded up. Russell's padded up, Billings is padded up, Cummins is padded up. So they're all ready for that final flourish. They just need these two to not get bogged down at any point.
Yeah, I actually think if a wicket was to fall now, would they actually put in Russell? There's always a conjecture about, how many overs do you give this guy? I think potentially you look to him, to be honest, unless you're thinking long term, we need to get Sam Billings comfortable and going well. But if they want to win the game, I reckon you bring in Russell. So right now, at the moment, I'm probably swaying Kolkata's side just because I think they've got the firepower. And I do feel that Delhi were about 30 runs short than what they probably should have.
That's sure. 101 for 2. We'll just hold on Cricbuzz Comm Box for a moment because Delhi have gone for a review. The one bowler that was not tried so far was Lalit Yadav, and he's come on in the 12th over. And the very first delivery, there's been a review for LBW. It seemed to get himself into a bit of a tangle, did Nitish Rana. But the real question will be point of impact, I reckon, if there's no bat, which I don't think there is. So we just hold on to that for a second. You're probably watching it on delay, so I've got spoiler alert over you, Lisa.
Yeah, maybe sliding down. What do you reckon?
Yeah, point of impact is in line, and it's just sliding down. So spot on, the reviews lost, and Kolkata are the king of reviews as far as this innings is concerned. That's 3 that they've managed to get. In this case, of course, it was the other way around. It was Delhi who reviewed it, and it wasn't successful. So they survive, Nitish Rana survives, and this could be an interesting passage of play. Lisa, slightly leaning towards Kolkata. It just means it should be a fun 10 overs if they are to get 200 plus. We'll see you at the end, which of course will also be a build-up to our second game down the road at the Wankhede. That's all from Cricbuzz Comm Box.